You know how people say love is complicated? I didn't understand what they meant, until my dad married a woman who could stop time with a glance. And the worst part? She never looked at him the way she looked at me. It all started the summer after my mom passed. I was 19, still trying to make sense of the world without her. My dad was broken. Grief sat on him like wet cement. He wasn't himself, and honestly, neither was I. So when Veronica came into our lives, she was like sunlight in a house that had known only storm clouds. She was elegant, poised, the kind of woman who turned heads when she entered a room. My dad met her at a charity event, and within 6 months, he proposed. I should have been happy for him. I tried to be. But there was something off. Something in the way her eyes lingered too long when they landed on me. Something in the way she touched my shoulder a second too long. At first, I chalked it up to my imagination. Or grief. Or both. Then she moved in. The first time it got strange was during dinner. Veronica had made pasta, her specialty, and poured a glass of wine for everyone. We laughed, told stories, and for a moment, things felt normal. Until I caught her watching me from across the table, her lips parted slightly, like she wanted to say something, intimate. I looked away, my ears burning. Later that night, as I was brushing my teeth, she knocked gently on the bathroom door. "Just checking if you need extra towels," she said. But when I opened the door, she didn't hand me towels. She just stood there, her robe a little too loose, her eyes locked on mine. "Thanks, I'm good," I mumbled, stepping back. She smiled like she knew something I didn't. "Good night, darling." And just like that, she was gone. The days that followed blurred between normal and not. She never crossed a line, but she danced on its edge. Lingering touches, compliments that came a little too close to flirting, calling me handsome with a voice dipped in honey. I started avoiding her. Spent more time out of the house. Took late classes. Hung out with friends I barely liked just to stay away. But she noticed. One afternoon, I came home to find her in the kitchen, chopping vegetables. She looked up and smiled. "You're always running these days." "Just busy," I said, grabbing a soda. She stepped closer, her voice low. "You don't have to avoid me, you know." "I'm not. You are." Her eyes pierced mine. "And I get it. You're confused." "So am I." I froze. "What are you talking about?" She leaned in. "Don't pretend you haven't felt it too. The tension. The energy." I stepped back, heart racing. "You're married to my dad." Her smile faded just a little. "Yes. But he's not who I think about when I can't sleep." I left the house that night. Drove until my gas light came on. Slept in my car by the lake. When I came back the next morning, she acted like nothing happened. But I couldn't unhear those words. Couldn't unsee the way she looked at me. I didn't tell my dad. How could I? He was happier than I'd seen him in years. And yet, every smile on his face made my guilt grow heavier. Then came the moment I couldn't forget, the one that changed everything. My dad had gone out of town for a conference. Veronica and I were alone in the house. I tried to stay in my room, headphones on, door locked. But late that night, I went down for water. She was in the living room, curled up on the couch in a silk nightgown. The TV was playing some black and white movie, but she wasn't watching it. She was watching the hallway, waiting. I hesitated, but I couldn't go back. Not without making it awkward. "You can sit," she said, patting the couch beside her. "I won't bite." I stayed standing. "I should go." She looked down, almost hurt. "You don't have to treat me like a monster. You're my dad's wife. And you're not a child." Silence stretched. I turned to leave. But before I could, she whispered, "Tell me you've never thought about it." "About me?" I turned furious. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I can't stop." Her voice cracked. "Because every day I pretend I don't feel something I know you feel too. And it's killing me." I walked out. Slammed the door behind me. My chest ached. My head spun. And I knew we had crossed into dangerous territory. But it wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. And the worst part? A part of me wasn't even sure I wanted it to stop. The next few days were unbearable. I couldn't look my father in the eyes without feeling like a traitor. Veronica, however, was cool as ice, making coffee in the morning, talking about dinner plans, asking how my classes were going, as if she hadn't tried to shatter the ground beneath my feet. I avoided her gaze. Ate quickly. Left early. Came back late. But tension, like gravity, has a way of pulling you back in. Friday night, Dad was back. He brought her flowers and a smile I hadn't seen in years. Watching him wrap his arms around her made my stomach twist. Not because I was jealous, because I was ashamed. But Veronica? She never flinched. Her smile for him was soft. But when she glanced at me, it was sharp enough to cut glass. Saturday, Dad suggested a movie night. Old tradition. One we hadn't done since Mom died. I couldn't say no. We made popcorn. Picked an old action flick we used to watch together. Halfway through, Dad got a call from work. Emergency. He kissed Veronica's cheek and said he'd be back in a few hours. As the front door clicked shut, the room fell into silence. I didn't move. Veronica didn't either. The movie kept playing, but neither of us were watching. Then she spoke. He loves you, you know. More than anything. I nodded slowly. I know. Do you love him back? I looked at her. Of course I do. She tilted her head. Then why do your eyes look at me like that? I stood up, fists clenched. You don't get to twist this. You crossed the line. You made me feel like... Like what? Like you weren't alone in this house anymore? Like someone actually saw you. She rose from the couch. You think I planned this? I didn't. It just happened. And now I can't breathe when I'm around you. I took a step back. Stop. She stepped forward. Say you haven't felt it. Look me in the eye and lie to me. I turned away. She whispered, I thought so. I ran out. Again. This time, I drove to my friend Nate's place. I didn't say why. Just crashed on the couch and stared at the ceiling for hours. I kept hearing her voice. Seeing her face. Feeling the heat of every glance she'd given me. I hated her for it. Hated myself more. The next morning, I came home early, hoping Dad would be up so things could feel normal. But the kitchen was empty. Veronica was the only one there, sipping tea like nothing happened. He went to the gym, she said casually. You look tired. I didn't respond. Just grabbed a granola bar and turned to leave. You can't run forever, she called after me. I froze. Eventually you'll have to decide what this is. Or isn't. I walked out, but her words followed me. That week, I tried to erase her. Buried myself in schoolwork. Spent hours at the library. I even started talking to a girl in my ethics class, Maya. She was sweet down to earth, had a laugh that made you feel like the sun was shining. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could pull myself out of the wreckage. We went out for coffee. Then lunch. She made me laugh. I started to breathe again. But then came Sunday dinner. Maya came over. I introduced her to Dad and Veronica. My dad was charming as ever. But Veronica, her smile didn't reach her eyes. She was polite. Too polite. During dinner, she asked Maya questions that felt more like traps. So what are your long-term goals? Do your parents believe in open relationships? You seem adventurous. Maya looked uncomfortable. I tried to change the subject. But Veronica wouldn't stop. When Maya went to the restroom, I hissed, What are you doing? Veronica leaned in, voice like velvet. Just protecting my investment. I stared at her. You're not my anything. She smiled. Aren't I? Maya came back. We finished dinner. I drove her home. She didn't say much. Later that night, I got a text. Asterisk, you're great, but I think you've got something complicated going on. I hope you figure it out. Asterisk. I sat in my car, phone in hand, fists trembling. Veronica had poisoned it. All of it. Every time I tried to move on, she was there, a storm behind my eyes. I stormed inside. She was reading on the couch, legs curled under her, calm as ever. You don't get to ruin my life just because you're bored, I snapped. She didn't look up. I'm not bored. I'm obsessed. That word. It cracked something inside me. You need help. She looked at me finally, eyes glistening. I know. But so do you. Because if you really didn't want me, you wouldn't be here right now. I stood there, breathing hard. Torn between fury and something I couldn't name. You're playing with fire, I said quietly. Then burn with me, she whispered. Upstairs, my dad's alarm went off. A door creaked. We both froze. The game had gone too far. And one way or another, someone was about to get burned. The moment Dad's footsteps echoed on the stairs, reality slammed back into place. Veronica sat up straight, brushed a hand through her hair, and put on that mask she wore so well. I backed away, heart pounding, throat dry. Dad entered the room, looking at us with a sleepy smile. Hey, he said. Everything okay? Yeah, Veronica answered smoothly. We were just talking about dinner plans for the week. I nodded slowly, my mouth unable to form words. He looked between us and rubbed his eyes. All right, I'm gonna go grab a shower. He disappeared upstairs. I looked at her. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. But that night changed everything. I didn't sleep. I sat in my room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the things I'd buried. My mother, my pain, my guilt, and the dangerous fantasy I let creep into my heart. I realized I was no longer just avoiding temptation. I was avoiding accountability. Because as twisted as it was, I had let it go on. In the morning, I made a decision. I waited until Dad left for work. Veronica was in the kitchen, sipping coffee, reading a book. "I need to talk to you," I said. She looked up, curious. "What's wrong?" "I can't do this anymore. Whatever this is, this tension, this dance, we have to end it. Now, before it ruins him. And us." She smiled sadly. "You think it hasn't already?" "I'm serious," I said firmly. "I'm not going to betray him. Not again. I've made mistakes, but this ends here. We both deserve better than living like ghosts." Her eyes glistened. For the first time, I saw her as something more than temptation. I saw a broken woman, struggling with loneliness, misplaced desire, and maybe, just maybe, a desperate need to feel wanted. "I thought I loved him," she whispered. "But he's not the one I stayed up thinking about. I didn't want it to be this way." "It doesn't matter anymore," I said. "We have to make it right." She nodded slowly, tears forming. "What are you going to do?" "I'm moving out. I've saved up. Got an apartment near campus. I'll tell him it's just to grow up. Be independent. But I need distance. And you need to decide who you really want to be with. Because dragging him into this without telling him is worse than breaking his heart." She turned away. "You're a good man. Better than me." I didn't answer. I just packed. By the end of the week, I was gone. Dad helped me move in, proud and a little emotional. "Didn't expect this so soon," he said. "But I'm proud of you." I hugged him tight. "Thanks, Dad. I just think it's time." Veronica didn't come. She stayed behind. I didn't expect a goodbye. I didn't need one. Weeks passed. Then months. I focused on school. On healing. On building a life that didn't revolve around shadows and guilt. I saw Maya again. Apologized. Took things slow. For the first time in a long while, something felt honest. Then one afternoon, my phone buzzed. A message from Dad. "Veronica's gone. She left a note. Said she needed to find herself." I guess I never really knew her. I stared at the screen. I didn't reply. Instead, I looked out the window and breathed. Not because everything was perfect, but because I'd finally stopped pretending. Moral asterisk, some temptations don't come in the form of sin. They come wearing the disguise of comfort, of loneliness, of unspoken needs. But real maturity is knowing when to walk away, not because it's easy, but because it's right. You can't always fix the past, but you can choose not to repeat it. And sometimes the strongest kind of love is the kind that never crosses a line.